捻一叶菩提香，阅读觉诸佛智慧海。阅读星云大师著作《星云说喻》，聆听大师如何以简短的譬喻故事，巧妙引导大众以智慧克服生活的困境，得到解脱自在。本系列故事分别中文及英文读诵，由香海文化执行长妙运法师中文诵读，人间佛教研究院副院长妙光法师以英文诵读。
Life-Saving. Once upon a time in Taipei, there lived a surgeon named Martin. He had received an invitation to a medical conference in London. So he booked his ticket, but due to the peak season, had to transit via Hong Kong International Airport. As a frequent flyer and a gold status member, the airline had reserved his preferred seat for him. On the day of his flight, Martin had made arrangements with his friend to have a quick catch-up before his flight. However, his friend waited for over an hour at Taipei International Airport, yet Martin was nowhere to be found. As time inched closer to boarding time, Martin's friend became anxious and thought it unusual for Martin to not show up without a phone call. He tried calling Martin several times, but there was no answer. What had happened was, on the way to the airport, Martin was caught in a traffic jam due to a terrible accident. As Martin's car passed the scene of the accident, he saw that the driver, a lady, was bleeding severely. Martin then asked the taxi driver to stop the car. He exited the vehicle and informed the police officers. "I'm a doctor. Please let me help." At that moment, catching his flight was no longer important to him. All he could think of was how to save the young lady's life. He quickly grabbed a clean cloth and did what he could to stop the bleeding. Soon, the ambulance arrived. However, as her condition was quite unstable, Martin felt he couldn't just leave his patient in her current state, and so decided to accompany her in the ambulance to the hospital and handle the surgery himself. Once the surgical operation was finished, Martin quickly called his friend to apologize and explain what happened. Afterward, he booked himself on the next available flight. By the time he arrived in London, the conference was already halfway over. Since Martin's sole purpose for being in London was the medical conference, he flew back to Taiwan as soon as it ended. Martin's son Alan came to pick him up at the airport and brought along a friend. After hugging his father, Alan said to him, "Dad, I would like you to meet Priscilla. Thank you for saving her life." Martin looked puzzled and confused. So Alan explained, "She is the young lady you saved on your way to the airport." "Oh, is that right? It is a pleasure to meet you. I hope you're recovering well." "How do you two know each other then?" Martin asked. Alan continued, "We have been dating for over a year now. Sorry I never introduced her to you. It is because Priscilla's father does not approve of our relationship. He cannot accept his daughter marrying the son of a doctor, because not long ago, Priscilla's mother fell ill and was treated by an experienced doctor. However, despite the doctor's best efforts, her mother died. Priscilla's father is still overwhelmed with grief whenever he hears about doctors. However, on the day of Priscilla's accident, it was a matter of life and death, and a doctor saved her life. Your decision to save her had prevented her from becoming paralyzed. I just did what any doctor would do, Martin replied and then turned to Priscilla. I'm sorry to hear about your loss. How's your father? My father is very glad that he still has me. That's why I want to thank you. Because of you, my father has overcome his grief and mindset about doctors. He realized that not all doctors are bad. My mother may have lost her life due to a doctor, but it was a doctor who saved mine. My father has even given his blessings to us. I can never thank you enough. If you had not stopped to help, I perhaps would not even be here today, Priscilla said with tears streaming down her cheeks. Extremely touched, Martin hugged Priscilla and said, all I could think about was to save a life. Who would have thought that the person would be my future daughter-in-law? It was just meant to be. This story highlights that in life, we are bound to encounter heartaches and misfortunes. But if we lose hope, feel trapped in misery, or turn selfish, we blind ourselves to good causes and conditions. As a result, we miss out on good outcomes unhoped for. Consider Martin's act of goodness. Though he helped Priscilla out of his resolve as a doctor, he helped his own son and future daughter-in-law. Furthermore, Priscilla's father was able to change his perception of doctors due to the kindness shown to his daughter. If we have a compassionate heart and a mind free from discrimination, we can spread compassion throughout the world. We will act selflessly to help those in need, and the ensuing good causes and conditions will bring favorable results. Just as Venerable Master Xing Yun says, to bear good or bad fruit depends on good or bad causes and conditions. Every person is their own gardener. The result of our actions, good or bad, depends on our good or ill will, as we are the master of our own will. Our mind is like a field that produces when fertilized. Generosity is like seeds sown that yield a good harvest.
救媳妇。台北一位医生受邀到英国伦敦参加一个医学会议，他事先都买好了机票，要先到香港转机，机位也都画好了。但是时间到了，他却没有去搭飞机。在机场等着送行的亲友觉得奇怪，打电话也查不到人，到底怎么了呢？原来他在去机场的路上遇到一起车祸，一位少女受伤，情况危急。他善心一念，也顾不得赶飞机了，立刻下车对那位少女施救，又亲自把少女送到医院做缝合手术。这一耽搁，飞机当然赶不上咯，只好重新安排。等他抵达伦敦的时候，那个医学会议已经进行一半了。开完会，从伦敦他垂头丧气地回到台湾，不想儿子却带着那个少女在机场接他，跟他说：爸爸，谢谢您挽救了我们的婚姻。原来那个少女就是他儿子的女朋友，他儿子苦追了1年多，因为女方的父亲一直不同意，说什么都不准女儿嫁给医生的儿子。因为女儿的妈妈就是死在一个庸医手中的，所以他爸爸恨透了医生。想不到女儿出了车祸，在生死一瞬间，这位医生把她救活过来，侥幸没有成为残废。而这个医生偏偏又是女儿男友的父亲，这么一来，他就不好意思再反对下去了，终于成全了这一对小儿女的感情。 这位医生知道这一番前因后果以后，不觉叹息说，我也只是想到要把那个受伤的少女救活，没想到反而救了自己的媳妇，真是老天有眼啊。倘若医生在当下哪怕是一个犹豫，都有可能是人命一条，更别提他无心插柳救了儿子的女儿，也帮了儿子一把。这个世间的因缘真的很美妙，时时心怀慈悲，热心助人，把温馨飘香人间，那么美好的因缘终究也能够开花结果。
更多内容欢迎典藏星云大师全集以及系列著作。感谢您的收听，我们下次见。
我看花自缤纷，我看樹自婆娑，卻隨